What's up, everybody? This is Mike from the Bookies podcast, and welcome to another edition of Batcave Minutes. It's Monday, October 5th, 2020. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I sure as hell did. Spent the weekend actually away from my daughter. My mom, she insisted that she, had her for the weekend, with all these COVID times ever since March. Shoot, we've only seen my parents like 5 times, maybe half a dozen times. So it was a nice little weekend. We missed her, but we got a lot of stuff done, around the house as far as cleaning wise is concerned that we normally wouldn't get to, especially since the new baby's here. But a lot of good barbecuing. Had some tri-tip sandwiches on the Traeger. I've been watching actually this cool ass, it's like American Barbecue Showdown. If anyone wants to catch that on Netflix, it's a good show. It's got different peoples with different backgrounds cooking just, pork shoulders and sausages and burgers. And shoot, I just watched an episode right now where they were, cooking up raccoon and alligator and possum. It was pretty crazy, but another one of those good competition shows that, of course, in barbecue, I need some more recipes and some more ideas going forward. But as far as the weekend was concerned, as far as on the sports side, another race, a crazy race at Talladega. Talladega ceases to, it doesn't disappoint. What was disappointing was the Raiders, they lose again. They didn't look like themselves from the first 2 weeks at least. And now I'm starting to think that they've just kind of gone back down to, what they are going to be. And that's like an 8-8 team at best. They have a tough schedule. They played, New Orleans, and even though without Michael Thomas, they're still a good team. And then New England, and then they just played Buffalo. And then they have, I think they go to Kansas City next week, who just dismantled New England right now. And I think they come home against Tampa Bay, against Tom Brady, who's just putting up points like no other. He had 5 touchdowns and almost 400 yards passing over the weekend. So, I don't know, it's just kind of discouraging as far as, my team is concerned. Cowboys suck. Atlanta Falcons suck. And then our other, hometown team, the 49ers, they just don't look the same with all of the injuries. Just too many mistakes. They used 2 different quarterbacks and then couldn't, unfortunately they gave Philadelphia their first loss, which sucked. But over on the positive side, the A's finally win a series. Man, finally I can say that they can move on from I know it was only a 3-game series. It wasn't a 5-game series like it usually should be. But, they move on from the wild card round, and then now they're in the divisional series today. Unfortunately, today they took it in the chin. I thought it was going to be a dismantling on the A's side, but man, those bats finally look like for 2017. It made me wonder where the hell were those trash cans, because the Astros just killed the A's today. I think it ended up being like 10-5 or something. They had like 16 hits. It was crazy. So, and that's off of Bassett. A couple of those runs were off of Bassett, our ace. He had the 3rd best ERA in the league. So I'm just kind of discouraged on that one too. So, but that's how it's always been for me. Ever since growing up, I've experienced besides the Warriors, which I'm not a huge basketball fan, so of course Warriors are my team, but I don't really get too hyped up for those championships. But, the A's, the Raiders, the Sharks, who have only been to 1 Stanley Cup final since they were became a team in 91, no championships. I just became recently a Manchester United soccer fan in 2016, so they've been very average at best, Shoot, and then in NASCAR, like I've been saying on the podcast so many times, I took a liking to Kyle Larson. He was a local boy from Elk Grove. The first race we ever went to down in Fontana, he wins the race, and then he goes and F's himself off by saying some stupid shit while iRacing. So there is rumors though that he might jump into the 48 car next year. So we'll see if that news is ever going to come about. But yeah, man, I've just had the worst luck. If you've had even worse luck, please comment on this video and tell me worse luck. Maybe you're a Lions fan. Maybe you're a Cleveland Indians fan. I actually know people who are fans of those teams. So they've had a little bit worse luck than my teams. But just, everything compiled onto each other. I don't know. But over on the comic book side, I've actually got the opportunity to catch up a little bit. I flipped through my previews book from a couple weeks ago. I got my list of like 3 or 4 new books that I'm going to give to Alex. But I do want to point out a few books over the last week or two that I really like. So this one right here, Bliss, I believe it's a 6-issue miniseries from Image. Really good book. I think I've explained it on the podcast before. It's this guy who's down and out. His kid is sick, and he's going to do anything it takes to get the money it needs to get him better. And he goes into this back alley, this like nocturne alley, like from Harry Potter, with all of the undesirables. Finds 3 creatures that are like gods, and they have this drug called Bliss. And what it does is it kind of takes away the bad memories. So what they do is they kind of hire him as a hitman to kill different people, and then when it becomes too much for him, they just give him the Bliss and he forgets it. So this issue is really cool because those guys pretty much give him an ultimatum, and they tell him that he has to kill his wife. I have no idea what the reason is that he has to kill his wife, but he wants them to spare his son. In order to do that, he's got to kill his wife, and the wife is not going down without a fight. So that's pretty cool. And the other one is now DC and Marvel. They are notorious and they're famous for all of their huge events and all their damn tie-ins, like the one X of Swords that just started, like last week. It's like 21 or 22 issues, but it crosses over between a bunch of different titles. There's this new winter one in DC that's coming, I believe, in December. It's like a 9-issue series or event, and it crosses over in Teen Titans, Justice League, Aquaman, and so on and so forth. But DC Death Metal is going really good right now. It's crazy, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, but this is one of the crossovers, and it's actually written by Josh Williamson, who just ended his run on The Flash. But Dark Knight's Death Metal, Speed Metal. Now, Sean would really like this one. I'm not sure if he subscribed to Death Metal, so he wouldn't get this because it's a crossover. But it's really cool. The Batman Who Laughs is pretty much chasing all of the different speedsters. Both Wally West, Barry Allen, Jay Garrick, and he's unleashed all of these different these death speedsters or whatever, and they're trying to get him. And what's really cool is that it's weird because there's another 6-issue miniseries with Wally West when he came back, and he kind of he meshed himself with the Mobius chair, and he has now he looks like Dr. Manhattan. He has the little hydrogen symbol on him, and it's just a weird story. But they finally he wants the Mobius chair. He needs to get it back from the Batman Who Laughs, and they just keep going. And finally, other speedsters that kind of helped Barry in the last couple issues of The Flash, they all come and help them get the chair back as well. So it's pretty cool, and it's going to actually be continued, this kind of story. See how he looks? He's all blue. So basically, what he used to wear red, and now he looks pretty much like a Dr. Manhattan speedster. So that one's pretty cool, and it continues in Dark Death Metal number 4. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the comic book side. I've ranted about sports. I've ranted about the personal life. Please go check out that barbecue show on Netflix. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Batcave Minutes for this week. Episode 82 is coming out this weekend. We're recording on Thursday. We're interviewing the great Frank Gogol from Source Point Press again for the second time, and he's going to be announcing his new project from that publisher. So this is Mike. This has been Batcave Minutes for the Comic Bookies podcast. Enjoy the sports, enjoy the comics, and enjoy each other. Peace out. See you in episode 82.